Hello and welcome to this little demonstration of the TriggerMesh integration with Amazon EventBridge. At TriggerMesh, we build application flows, which means that we integrate an application that's the source of some events with an application that's the target of some events. And in the middle, potentially, we do some transformation of the events to perform the task that we want. So here I just logged into the TriggerMesh console. You see our evolving catalog of application flows. We call them bridges. You see things like a flow between GitLab and AWS Lambda. You see flows like Slack to Confluent if you want to archive your Slack conversations in your Kafka cluster, or things like Azure Activity Logs to Splunk if you need to keep all your security logs. So all those flows are there for you. And if you want to use them, you can just say use template and then fill in, the required information for those applications. So here, for example, this is the Zendesk sentiment analysis application flow. And if I click on the Zendesk source, so the beginning of the flow, I need to fill in some parameters. All right. So what I want to show you is our new integration with AWS EventBridge. And to do this, I'm going to do a flow between GitHub, which is not supported in AWS EventBridge, and EventBridge itself. And we'll just send the GitHub events to CloudWatch. All right. So to do this, I'm going to create a bridge. And it's not yet baked into the console as this is currently a preview, but it's available as our bridge API. So all our flows are API driven with a kind that we called bridge. That's why you saw in the catalog, we talked about bridges. That's really the name of the API object that represents those flows. I have here the definition of a GitHub source. This is going to take push events on this repository, sepgo@transform on GitHub. And then I have a trigger and then a target. This is really what we developed, and that's available in the TriggerMesh cloud. It's the EventBridge target. So what this means is that any events happening on GitHub, here specifically push events, is going to be sent to EventBridge automatically thanks to our flow. All right. So I submit the flow. You now see our table view of the flows here. So notice we have, the catalog here, but then we have here the table view of the bridges. And then we have a little dashboard here that says you have one bridge and you have 6 services, which are actually functions. And it takes a little bit of time for the controller that's manipulating the bridges to create all the different components. It's going to create a GitHub source. So we see here our GitHub event source. The beginning of our flow is now green. If we look at the brokers, we should have a green broker here, GitHub, GitHub EventBridge broker. That's basically routing the events. So, and here we see the YAML defining this broker. And then we see a trigger here that's green. So the trigger is green. How about the bridges? So now we see that the bridge is green. GitHub EventBridge is ready. All right. So we go to the EventBridge console. We refresh. No, we don't refresh. We go to partner event source. And what do we see? We see that we have a new source here, TriggerMesh, in the EventBridge partners. Notice that we are at the bottom here, TriggerMesh. Okay, alphabetical order. We are at the bottom, except that if we search for TriggerMesh, you find us. But by running our bridge, I now have a partner event source in the AWS console. I can associate this with an event bus. Here you go. So it's done. And now that I've done this in EventBridge, I need to create a rule, which is going to say, where do I want my events to go? So I create a rule. I say, demo screencast rule, little event pattern where I'm going to say, hey, all events. Okay, I'm interested in all events getting to this bridge. And I want to go to CloudWatch log group. custom go, and I specify the bus. Okay, I specify this bus, and I go to a log group called screencast. So let's go. All right. So now I've created a rule here. Notice that it's a rule associated with the partner event source. All right. So now I can go to CloudWatch. We're going to check the log groups, refresh this a little bit. We see our screencast log group. Okay. And so far, nothing. So what do we need to do? Right? If our bridge is indeed working, if this application flow is running, we should be able to do any push on our GitHub repo, which is our sepgoa-transform GitHub repo, push events. And any of those push events should find their way to EventBridge, and thanks to our rule, should find their way to CloudWatch. All right. So we go to GitHub. Let me zoom in. And the easiest thing is just to use the UI to do, a little modification. And we can say, here is a demo of EventBridge. So I make the commit on GitHub. As soon as the commit goes, it's captured by my event source on TriggerMesh. It's been sent to EventBridge through our EventBridge target. And if I refresh the log group, I see a log stream. I click on it, I expand it, and boom, I see my GitHub event. This is a GitHub event right now here. A beautiful little JSON sepgoa transform. And you see all the, the commits for that object. All right, perfect. So once again, we now have integration of EventBridge inside the TriggerMesh application flow. And it's available right now as a tech preview. And that allows you to funnel any on-premises event, any SaaS event that's not currently supported in EventBridge. You can define that flow and get to any of the supported targets in EventBridge, and you can start building your new serverless application. Thank you.